Using Shirk.
Yeah, you could say that's a form of shirk. Okay. All right, we're gonna get into it. I don't want to like.
Yeah.
Okay, today's topic. I wanted to talk about the expression "honor amongst thieves." Okay, because this is an expression I've always heard growing up or my life. That there's an honor amongst thieves. There's like a code. And what it is, the concept is that it refers to the idea that people who commit wrongs like thieves or criminals have their own internal code or loyalty or fairness amongst themselves. And it's an informal moral code. Like we don't betray each other. If we do a heist, we rob a bank, you're going to get your share, I'm going to get my share.
Of course.
I'm not going to snitch. Like in gangs, they got, or mobs, they got a no snitching rule. Even though they're mobsters, gangsters, and killers, and all kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So, and I was thinking about this because I was thinking like, it's not always just mobs, gangs, and stuff that you see this kind of honor amongst thieves code. You can see it in politicians. You can see it in militias and military, and even in corporations,
of course,
where they commit illegal acts. Pharmaceutical companies, they do things that are harmful overall and unethical for the sake of a profit, but no one points out the flaws because they don't want to lose their share in the company, in the profits or whatever, the money they can make, and so they honor that code of silence. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even though it goes, and so that's like the honor amongst thieves. You understand that?
Yeah. I get the concept. It's like it's a unity thing, right? It's like when we one for all for one type of thing. Where like, if but if you not go rob a bank or something, and one of us get caught, you know what I'm saying? The other one's gonna take the fall because that's the whole point of honors among thieves, right? The same thing goes with when we're young. I had cousins when they came over. Certain things that we were doing it late now, like trying to steal snacks from the cupboard or trying to do things like that. We just kept it between us. Mom asked what happened the next morning. We don't know.
Yeah.
I guess the concept, it starts young and then eventually grows older. And you mentioned politics earlier, or just now. You are right. A pharmaceutical and a politician goes hand to hand. Apart from the Zionist agenda, you could see you could see inside politics how the pharmaceutical basically own majority of the politician. It's a hand on the table kind of
deal. What lobbying, which is just legal bribes, and then who knows what goes on actually behind the scenes too. That's even further. But like even just on the legal side, they have loopholes that justify basically very unethical laws that screw over people.
Of course.
And so I was thinking about this, right? And so this is a very fundamentally, like, plainly bad issue, right? To put in simple terms. But it also goes against like every major ideological understanding of what justice is. And as someone who follows an ideology of Islam, I kind of think about how does this contradict my own belief? Like what if I was to be tempted to keep a secret and just to save myself because I'm involved with some sort of like criminal organization or a regular organization that is committing a crime, and do I honor the honor code of the honor amongst the thieves, or what do I do? Okay, and so I was looking into it, and so this basic kind of honor is viewed as false or incomplete because it exists outside the framework of justice, right? Mm-hmm. So the framework of justice and Taqwa, which is God consciousness. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you can't have this code, this honor amongst these, and have Taqwa and God consciousness, fear of God at the same time. They don't coexist. And the reason why, the very obvious reason is like, if I'm doing something, if I'm honoring something negative, if the basis of what we're doing is criminal, first of all, that's a sin. We're stealing or doing with harm, right? But then if I am considering or being more concerned about what the other person thinks for why I'm doing it versus what God thinks, you're not thinking about, oh, this can actually be this, that God is watching me hold this lie.
Yeah.
So you're not even thinking about, you're not thinking about justice. You're not thinking about the ethical wrong, and you're not thinking about God conscious. You're not thinking about, well, what would God think about me doing this? So
You are right. It's like more of a practice of shirk, right? You putting something the same level as worshiping Allah. You know, you fearing another, you fearing His creation or His idea of that creation as the same level as Allah.
Yeah.
And you know that's automatically the biggest sin, one if not the biggest sin there is in Islam. In a general sense, where like you fear what the other person think versus you having fear for Allah. You know, it's not welcome in Islam.
Showing loyalty, a thief showing loyalty to another thief, foundationally is wrong, and then so that honor is foundationally wrong.
Yeah.
So
you know, to mention that a lot of people get perplexed to a reason where, you know, in Islam is you're not to quote the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you're not a true believer unless you what you want for yourself you want for your brothers, right? And I believe when a thief, well, not thieves, but those that do things behind closed doors or do things in the dark, rather, it's also they come and get to that same position where like I want the same thing for myself that I want for my, you know, my fellow man, but they just go about it in a very wrong way to a point like shaitan is basically run their lives.
And so the second big point about this is that to attain honor in Islam is only through righteousness and moral integrity. Okay, so not through loyalty to sin. So if you are, and that's kind of a common sense thing that, like, if you're doing something wrong that contradicts your belief, you know it's haram, like, you know it's forbidden or not permissible, having any sense of loyalty to it. So, but why do people fall into that anyway? How does someone who is a believing person, who is a, you know, somewhat God-fearing person, God-conscious person, find themselves in a predicament where they are loyal to a criminal act, and they might not even be in a criminal organization. They might be working at a pharmaceutical company as a med tech or something, or like a, you know, but the example that comes to mind is that where now we'll say this corporation is conducting an operation somewhere, like let's say an oil company or something is building a pipeline in a land that can contaminate the water source for a city. Say that does happen. A leak does happen.
We see it a lot.
And now the corporation is running a campaign to cover up that leak and the responsibility and all this. Meanwhile, people are having lead in their water. No one knows why, because they are lying. And you are working for an oil company, which is not haram at all, just because it's for the sake, basis of oil. Just on the principle of that, it's not evil or unethical to do such a job. But now you're in this predicament where if I turn on the company, they can turn on me. If I snitch, my life, you know. So do I do the just thing by exposing this, because now this harm, now since it's not being exposed, no one can solve the issue? Or do I say I have to protect myself, and you know, this is the way I'm making money right now. I can't not make money. So where is your fear lying really? Is it in what's, you know, the injustice and the honoring the thief, the honor code, which has a foundation of that is flawed. That's flawed because the foundation is based on something that's not you know, not good, injustice, protecting a corporation that is doing harm to people. Or do you say, I have to get out of here and disassociate because this is not who I am? I fear God. Because what is God going to think? What does he think now? He sees me doing this. There's no escaping when you have God, when you have taqwa. When you have God consciousness, there's no escaping because no matter where you go, you're being monitored. And so,
Yeah, to get back to the question the statement that you mentioned, why do people fall into that predicament? I can only speak from experience, but from what I understood is basically, when a boy turns to a man and there's no guidance in between that, obviously he will seek guidance elsewhere, and then you fall into that wrong crowd situation where you have the brotherhood around you, or you have someone of guidance, or something's guiding you to a purpose. It may be wrong, it may be unethical, but you feel like you belong somewhere. And I believe like a lot of young men fall into that deep cycle. Hence the reason why some of them join gangs.
yeah.
Some of them, get out the hood and they become exceptional men. Some of them, play professional sport. Some of them become hackers. It really, it really depends on where exactly that lands.
Yeah.
So to make matter worse, especially when there's no guidance in between there to guide a young man in a proper way, he falls into that deep cycle where like you get money in a wrong way. Where also when you have a young man who's been taught the right way and then enter into a big boy job, where like here's the opportunity for me to provide a lifestyle for myself, my family, buy mom a house, buy my sister a car, provide a lifestyle for my children. You think that the company that you work for, it's like everybody gets everything. So everybody gets everything from your hard work. For example, you go to college, you do your undergrad, you do your masters, you get to work for a company like BP, for example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is a great company, by the way. And then somewhere along the line, there's an ethical where like you guys not supposed to be doing what you're doing, but because of the certain things that happen, now you're stuck in a way where like, do I want to stay here to provide a lifestyle for my family?
Yeah.
Or do I want to continue? Do I want to expose and then quit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is it's funny because at Jummah today, the man was talking about riba, interest, and having interest rates, and how it's clearly cut, like it's impermissible to deal with interest.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, if you want to get a house, if you want to buy a car, if you get a credit card, they all involve interest.
Yeah, you can't escape it here in America.
You can't escape it. There's some ways. There's some halal Islamic finances. There's some ways.
Yeah, but it's still.
But it's very, very like It's very hard to get to those ways.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you do? Where do you live? You can get an apartment, right? But now you're missing out on ownership of a home.
Yeah.
So, what do you do? Do you compromise, or do you? And so, in the Prophet peace be upon him said this, that at the end of times, one of the minor signs of the Day of Judgment is that riba will be so widespread, interest will be so widespread that even the dust of it will hit you. Even if you don't directly get involved, you'll be the dust of it, the wind of it. So like in some kind of way, no matter what you do, you're going to be affected by it, kind of. And that's what you see today. It's so prevalent. Every banking system, major bank uses it.
Yeah.
So, but what do you do? The moral conversation. So it's like, are you going to compromise and say, I have to compromise my values and my faith because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And to some degree, I have to do it.
Yeah, especially in the States.
Or do you go hard and strict and say, no, I'm going to stiff arm this and do the harder thing because I don't even want to compromise, not even a little bit. So this is the dilemma that we face here, especially here in the West, where it's more prevalent.
Yeah.
So
I really like the fact that you touch on interest rates, right? So even in Islamic banking, right, to today's motion, that is, I find in my own research, I found that majority of the Muslim or the halal banking, you go in there for a loan for a house. On top of that, they're gonna add their own fees. It's not gonna be interest, but it's gonna be some kind of fees.
Yeah, they make it more expensive to kind of compensate for the fact that they don't charge interest.
Yeah. So in reality, you're not really. Is it really halal then? Because at the same time, you're borrowing what $200K to buy a house, but you're paying back $215. You see what I'm saying? So it's it's a slippery slope. You know what I mean? It's like, only Allah knows best. You know what I mean? I'm only talking from experience from my own research, from what I see when I was trying to buy a house. And it's not an easy thing to escape it,
Yeah.
and especially living in the States. Oof, that is almost everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Should even paying a student loan, going to school, education,
exactly.
the basic of all basic things, you still have to. I'm still paying my student loan. I'm not even paying the thing. I'm paying the interest right now.
Yeah.
So this is what I mean. Like, you cannot escape it. As much as that, like, I would like to say, like, yeah, of course, not all of us were blessed with athletic ability to go to school for free, or not all of us were blessed with certain, what do you call this, intelligence for us to score at certain places for us to enter a school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of us have to work hard and work 3 jobs just to pay for 1 semester.
Yeah.
So it's really hard it's very, very difficult. I can only speak here in the States because I was raised here, and then I went to school here, so I can only speak from my experience, and you cannot escape it whatsoever.
So I want to interject with this hadith that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said. He said, "Help your brother whether he is an oppressor or oppressed." And then the companions asked, "O Messenger of Allah, we understand helping the oppressed, but how can you help with the oppressor?" And he said, "By stopping him from the oppression. That is how you help them." And that's in Bukhari. So this completely flips the honor amongst thieves mentality. Completely reverses it. Now, instead of complying, you stop. In Islam, you prove loyalty to your brothers, covering your brother's sin, and then you prove loyalty by guiding him away from it. So yeah, cover his sin, don't share it, don't share it, don't glorify it, don't
of course
hide it, and then condemn it and tell him. You can speak to him privately and say, "Hey, you need to stop this," and that is. And that's why it's so perfect. There's another hadith I can think of off the top. It was like, if you hide your sins or hide your brother's sins, God will hide your sins in the day of judgment.
Yep. I remember.
Another thing related to that, another hadith related to that is like, not to show off your sins.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because that can amplify because now you're bragging and now you're making it acceptable, and other people will follow along through it.
Yeah.
So, but I really like this hadith because this really makes a very powerful point that this completely flips the honor amongst thieves. It's like, instead of, I'm not going to tolerate this because it's unjust, but so we're in this situation, we're in this group or whatever together, and I'm not going to honor this this code. Instead, I'm going to address it and tell you to stop and come back to God and repent and things like that.
It's gonna be very difficult for to how do you relay that message to your brother, especially knowing that livelihood that he's doing, that's the only way.
How do you convince them to stop making their money? If their money is, and then because some people are gonna, and that's the thing, do you have to face that? Like, are you going to continue this sinful job? And so, what is more important to you, just the money or your akhirah? What's more important to you? Like, and then how important is the job? And also, if you're very honest with yourself, could you make the same amount of money doing something halal? And actually, the truth is you can. And in fact, your risk doesn't come from just how hard you grind. It comes from the provisions, like it's from the qadr, right? The decree. So whether you're a drug dealer or you're selling like workout equipment, and you have a successful business,
no interest.
The drug dealer, you could be selling drugs, making millions of dollars, fast money, or you can do a halal business, making the same amount of money. You might have the same outcome. You grind the same amount. So it's like you don't know that. Now you're cutting yourself short because you think, I have to do this haram thing because look how much I'm making. Meanwhile, you have this decree of wealth waiting for you in a clean way, but you just hyper focused on what's been working, this fast money,
I also, when you were talking about workout equipment, that had me thinking for a second because when you own a
Just think
business,
about Rip Right. That's why I'm selling Ripstick. That's workout equipment. Yeah.
so like when you own a business, right? I obviously you're eligible to get credit cards to help you boost your business your revenue, right?
Yeah.
And within that credit card, you have to pay interest. Even though they promise you 1 year 0 interest rate, and not following you, you're paying 4.3 or whatever case may be.
Yeah.
I don't know the numbers these days. So at the end of the day, you're still kind of forced. You're back to you're back to the interest rate. It's very difficult to do it here in the States. And on the flip side, I know a couple lawyers. Some of them are criminal lawyers. Some of them are well, it's a criminal law, but defensive lawyer, and then some of them are family lawyers. But the majority of one that are defensive lawyer, I can't help going like, how do you go home at night when you just let a criminal free?
Yeah.
I get it. The money is there. The accolades is there. Hey, I'm a lawyer. Hey, this and that. I live in a private neighborhood. Hey, my kids go to a great school. My wife is my wife is set. My life is set. But like you just beat a case. That man is guilty. But because of one, technically, you got him out of it.
Yeah.
And then how do you go about your life with that guiltiness? You're like, oh, I was just did my money or whatever. But you have somebody that did something wrong to society out there.
It's like that movie. Is a movie Devil's Advocate.
Yeah,
with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
He's just like winning all the time, and he's like, he knows they're guilty. And he's like, oh, well, I won.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like you have to ask yourself: do I really want to continue this life? Is the afterlife more important than this life? Because at the end of the day, this life is only temporary.
Yeah, you gotta remember you're gonna die anyway. And it's like, and if it's like you didn't even, especially if you just had an average life afterwards, like did you sin? Did you go like you just accumulated a bunch of sins for an average life, and it's like why'd you do that? He's gonna be feeling dumb, and there's an ayah in the Quran where people in hellfire are gonna be saying, "My wealth did not benefit me."
Oh yeah.
It's like this didn't benefit
my kids,
me.
my children,
nothing benefited me.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, I spent my whole life chasing this.
Yeah.
And it's like went nowhere.
Man, this life's only temporarily, man.
It's kind of scary. It's like I even think about that. I'm like, why am I? So what? The things that I like to do. If it's like, if there's some haram in it, then just don't do it. Because at the end of the day, it's like it feels good in the moment to do this, but it's like you can do a halal version of this and not have the guilt. You know what I mean? Like you can.
I forgot who said this when it goes, power corrupts absolutely. And I've seen it firsthand, and I've seen
absolute
good
power
men,
corrupts absolutely.
Yeah,
I think that's how it goes.
Yeah, it's somebody from the Romans or like the Greek ages. I forgot exactly who said it. I think it's Galileo, but I might be wrong though. I might be wrong, or maybe Machiavelli, one of it. But the whole point is like I've seen great men that I went to school with, grew up with, come in power, and I see how quickly they're changed. They became politicians. I just look at them. I'm like, I'm not perfect at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to expose my brother's sin. However, I see the fact that great power, the money that comes with the accolade that comes with the notion that everybody thinks that you're great, but deep inside, are you doing it because of the sake of Allah, or are you doing it because of you? You know what I mean? Hence going back to, is this you practicing shirk, or is this you not understanding what you're doing wrong? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's absolute power corrupts absolutely, and it's a quote from Lord Acton. John Dahlberg Acton in 1887.
No, that was before.
Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
Great men are almost always bad men.
Look at the thing that happened in Michigan State with the USL Olympic doctor. What's his name? I forgot his name.
Just recently?
Yeah, just like 2-3 years ago. I forgot.
Oh.
It was like a huge big deal because he was a U.S. Olympic doctor. He also was at Michigan State. He got convicted and spending like I think 120 some life in prison. He'll never get to see the outside again. Although he had great accolades, he was, a physician, a guy that spread knowledge, but behind closed door,
Michael Rip. Nah, that's
and he although he had a great accolades, but behind closed door, he was touching women and the wrong women in the wrong way, and it just kept on letting on over time, and I guess
this guy.
No, not him at all. No, that's not him. He's an older man. He's much older. He's probably in his early 50s, if not late 50s.
But he was like harassing women.
Yeah, he was more than harassing women, sexually harassing them, and then from like teenage girls to all the way to adult women. And over time, nobody did anything until something happened. It's like. At that point, astaghfirullah, I can't speak for him, but it's like, was he corrupted before that, or he became corrupted because of that?
Yeah. So, the next point I wanted to get into is like, honor without justice is hypocrisy. Okay.
Repeat that again one more time.
Honor without justice is hypocrisy, and. Even if a group has loyalty, but it's built on wrongdoing, corruption, the Quran condemns those who form alliances in evil. And
like the Nasar, there you go.
There's a ayah from Surah Ma'idah. It says, and cooperate in righteousness and piety, but do not cooperate in sin and aggression. Right? And it's a very like simple gem, but it's like it's simply put, but it's a very stern, clear point that it's like you have to you can apply that to all of this in your life. Don't cooperate in righteousness and piety. So praying, doing good deeds, charities, zakat, and all that stuff. And then don't cooperate in sin and aggression. So if you see someone doing something wrong, you see someone participating in fitna and destruction, then don't cooperate it. Don't be a part of it. Don't associate with it. Okay, so Islam distinguishes between honor and uplifts. So Islam distinguishes between honor that uplifts through justice, mercy, and truth, and honor that deceives through shared wrongdoing or silence. Okay. The irony of honor amongst thieves, in a deeper sense, the phrase itself shows that even corrupt people recognize the value of honor and trust, but they misdirected it. So, which is I think is like an interesting point.
It is.
It's super ironic, right? Islam teaches that the same instincts, loyalty, respect, brotherhood, are part of your fitrah, which is like your natural inclinations, and should be purified and redirected towards halal and righteous ends, right? So,
which it brings me back to the point where like his name was Larry Nasir, right? Check this out.
Yeah.
Shout out to Michigan State. Go green, go white. It's a great school. Go Spartans. So, back to my point, right?
Yeah.
Investigation found that the U.S. Gymnastic and the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic community, Michigan State University, even the FBI had opportunity to stop Nasir, but failed to do so, allowing his abuse to continue for many years.
Yeah.
And then obviously he was found guilty. He counted victims. There were more than 265 women and girls came forward to accuse him of abuse, with 156 of them providing powerful victim impact statement in court during his sentencing time. So he got 175. In a Michigan State prison. It's safe to say he would never come out. So it just to give you like they knew that he was what he was doing.
They were well aware of it,
Yeah.
but then didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Because they want to for what reason? Yeah, I mean you can only suspect, but it's like okay, they weren't. It's not like the feds were tied to him per se, but in a sense, but yeah, and you can look at it in the same way. It's like if you allow people to do corrupt things because you have the power to stop them because you have ulterior motives, you can kind of be grouped into this context like
Yeah.
of honoring a code that's false, a wrongdoings.
I mean, the U.S. Olympic. Look how look how big and powerful it is. It could have cut it early, but they chose not to do so.
Yeah, and if they knew about it, like.
The same thing.
But most institutions won't platform or allow someone who has a public case.
Yeah.
But so there is kind of like that, but that's for a lot of it's just for optics.
Same thing at MSU. They probably knew what was going on, but they just put it down the carpet. Shout out to MSU. It was still a great school. You know, just the staff is a different story there. But it's more than prevalent to show you that after you hold a certain position for a long time, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah. So the overall the thing you should the main takeaway from this is that if you find yourself in a position where you are kind of entrapped by this, or you feel entrapped by an institution that is compelling you to commit harm or wrongdoings or sin or evil or any kind of thing that's negative, and you know it goes against your natural inclinations, your fitrah, and you know that there is a better alternative that is positive, that is halal and clean and righteous and good for you, you should leave what is negative and go to what's good. No matter how hard it is, you need to take that sacrifice, because in the end of the day, it's going to work out for you in the long run. If you make dua, you make your intentions, you pray to God and ask for guidance and do your part, you're going to have positive results no matter what. It's a win-win situation when you leave. You leave what's wrong, you find something better, something good. If it doesn't happen the next day, if it doesn't happen the next month or the next year, it's guaranteed to happen. And so you have to have patience and willingness to even deal. Because you might have to deal with a little bit of struggle in the meantime, or take a pay cut. But it's still better than what you could be dealing for, because you're protecting your soul and your what feels right inside of you, and your consciousness. Like a lot of people have bad consciences, can't sleep at night knowing that they're a part of something that's harming people.
Yeah.
And they dealt with it for years. So that's the main takeaway. Honor amongst thieves is the shadow of real morality, a corrupted ego or corrupted echo of something that. Something Islam values, but only when rooted in truth. Islam's version would be honor amongst righteousness, honor amongst the righteous, and honor that stands before Allah, not before men. Okay, do you have any closing thoughts on that?
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of this document. I also read about it too. The boxer, the greatest boxer that ever lived, Muhammad Ali. May Allah forgive his sin and the great name of Jannah.
Yeah,
He used to. I remember the interview he was doing. He says that he keeps a lighter in his pocket all the time. So whenever he feel like he needs to sin, he turns the lighter on and glazes his hands over it.
I've seen that.
Yeah, just so he could feel the heat from the little flame. Just to remind him what's gonna be or what's gonna happen. So I guess you gotta have that moral compass, or like the moral code for oneself, to understand this life is just temporary. Whatever that we do, we gonna live it. We gonna leave it behind. Our family, we gonna leave it behind. Our children, we gonna leave it behind. Our cars, clothes, anything, we gonna leave it behind. The only thing we take with us is our sin, and then what we did good. So at the end of the day, you have to have taqwa, like you mentioned. You have to be God's conscience on everything that you do. Now, granted, we all humans. We all have our shortcomings here and there. Some of us have anger issues. Some of us have an addiction of issues. Whatever the case may be. May Allah forgive all sin. But it's more of a you have to have a moral compass to understand this life is just temporarily. You blink, you blink, and boom, you're done. You're gone. All this.
Yeah.
This clothes, this phone.
The Quran says that when people on the day of judgment will say, when they're asked for how long were they on earth, they'll say it was only a day.
A day, if not half a day.
That's all they can remember. It's just been a day because it felt so fast.
Yeah, it's just all this is just temporarily, to be honest with you. And then what? And then what hurts the most is watching your Muslim brother deteriorate himself, and there's nothing you could do about it but just like remind him, set a reminder for him, all like the best that you could do for him. You know, may Allah forgive all our sin and grant us all the highest good in Jannah.
Amen. Yeah. All right. So I think that'll be it. That's it for today. We're gonna wrap it up, and we're gonna.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also share.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Yeah, leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah. All right. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam.